Welcome to the Get Offset podcast. My name is Andrew.
And my name is Emily.
And that was a delightful sip of coffee.
I bet. I bet it was. I bet it was so delightful.
It was, yeah, actually.
Yeah. That's good for you, man. Good for you. I have a coffee as well. It is delightful. You usually don't even have coffee. You usually have like weird energy drinks.
Trying to think here. Well, I've been moving away from energy drink proper.
Yeah.
This last week was first week on a new schedule for work, and hopefully I don't have a reason to have energy drinks on hand anymore if I'm not getting up at the absolute butt crack of dawn every day.
Yeah, that is a benefit of not having to get up at the absolute butt crack of dawn every day.
Downside of not having to get up at the butt crack of dawn every day is waking up at like 8 every day means on weekends wanting to sleep in a little bit means like, oh shoot, I've got to be on the podcast in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet.
Yep. So I've got that. But you know what? I've got a full-ish, well now it's less full, but a fullish pint glass of an undisclosed ratio of chocolate milk and cold brew.
Yeah. Yeah, it just looks like chocolate milk.
Yeah. It's actually not as much chocolate milk as it looks like. It was a 11-ounce can of cold brew. You figure a pint glass is 16 ounces or so.
Yeah.
So 4 or 5 ounces of chocolate milk and boom.
That's like that Stumptown stuff in those little cartons that they sell.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that
it's
stuff.
Good.
And it's very bad for you.
Is it?
That was a weird face I made there. I mean, no, it's not really bad for you. Just compared to
say that.
Just shotgunning some cold brew, it's probably not great.
Yeah, but shotgunning's fun. You know, it's kind of fun to just like take a can of cold brew, and then you take the key from the apartment. That's like the best thing you can afford because of your terrible job that makes you wake up at first thing in the morning. It's just like you use that to crack it open, and then you suck it all down, and you know, it's just kind of like a beautiful picture of angsty life in your 20s.
Why are you acting like last week or so I didn't offer to pay you like $25 to shotgun a cold brew?
Because I don't actually shotgun cold brews.
You're all talk, no walk, buddy.
That's the podcast, isn't it?
Self-burn.
Self-burn.
Too hot. I'm going to pour my coffee right by the microphone for the listeners. For their, whatever those letters are. What are those letters?
ASMR.
I can never remember those. I don't know why.
I don't know why I have that completely dialed into my brain, but it might have something to do with the fact that I'm a military brat and acronyms are just the way of life.
That's actually an initialism, but I'll let it slide.
It's a what?
Acronym would be like NASA, where you have the letters and you pronounce them out, and an initialism is when you say like NAACP instead of NASP.
Okay, yeah, but how would you pronounce it otherwise?
That's the point. That's the point. That's the point.
Asimer?
It's an initialism. I'm not saying that it's not ever like it's just like NASA makes sense as an acronym.
No. So hey, yeah. Anyways, what's new with you?
Well, oh my God.
Where to begin?
My allergies. My allergies were really bad this week. Hey, late, I guess the other day I went down to the Gibson Seattle showroom, which I didn't know existed, but actually was right by when I worked downtown. It's right near where I used to work, but they've only been in that spot since March, so they haven't really been in that spot. But I met with the artist rep there, Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
And we just had a nice, talked about guitars, about ourselves, about our feelings and thoughts. And hopefully I'm going to get to start to do some guitar demos. And I think I'm going to start with this one. This is the Gibson Les Paul double cut Junior tribute. Andrew's just on his phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people can see you on your phone now, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is the tribute series, and I quite like it. It weighs nothing. This is a very lightweight instrument, which makes me happy. Satin finish, that nice kind of dog hair cherry finish that I like a lot. Yeah. It's been so long since I played a Gibson, an electric Gibson.
I'm trying to think. I can't remember the last time I touched an electric Gibson either. It must have been pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
I've looked at Gibson. I had to go to Guitar Center a couple weeks ago for something.
Yeah.
And I walked around the platinum room for a few minutes. I'm like,
the humidity control room.
Right. Where I wanted to put my hands on everything, but probably shouldn't have.
Yeah. I liked that room as well. I liked, but I didn't like having to go up to someone and be like, can you unlock the guitar that I'm never going to buy?
Hey, can I talk to your manager? Get the key.
Yeah. I just like, I want to play it. I want to play the $30,000 guitar. No, this would be one of their budget Gibsons. I think they were around 1,000 new, but
yeah,
like it doesn't have some of the flourishes that like obviously the $3,000 ones have, but I think
it's a no nonsense single pickup wraparound tail.
Compensated wraparound bridge, yeah.
Compensated.
Yeah.
What is it compensating for?
Intonation.
What?
My Jim Halpert look at the camera. Amazing.
I'm just going to sip my coffee judgmentally, which is really just my chocolate milk.
We're doing something a little bit new for patrons this week. So I've been experimenting some with the live streaming. And I did a couple live streams this week. Normally, like, I learn a pedal. I kind of do it on my own beforehand. And I had some kind of complex ones. I'm like, what if I just live stream this? So I got a capture card. Big thanks to Hondo Felder for explaining how setups like that work. And I've been live streaming. So I have the Streamlabs OBS software. And for our $5 and up patrons, patreon.com/getoffset, they're watching this live, and it's gonna look a little bit better in future weeks, I promise. And Noah, I am reading the chat. Andrew shares 4 letters with Karen. Noah says.
Yes. Wait, should I click on this link, or is it just gonna am I gonna hear it back to myself? I'm gonna hear it back to myself.
Just mute it. Just open it and mute it if you just want to read the chat.
There's chat. There's people talking about me. Oh no, what have I missed? I was actually this is incredibly vain. What I was actually pulling up. Oh, and mute it.
Patrons, please take some notes and send them to us after, because we are going to improve processes. Like, I think that this is hard panned, and I do not know why. I don't know why, but it's fine. It's like, if you're listening to it normally, you're not experiencing anything weird. It's just going to be our normal setup. But if you are watching, if you're one of our patrons watching this live, I'm trying to figure out the audio thing. It's the one thing I haven't really sat down with it a lot, and this was with the live streams too, like the panning.
Philip says, "Yeah, Emily is hard pans left, just like her politics."
And you he didn't say that part.
He didn't say that part. I added that last bit.
How did you just suddenly get so much louder?
The coffee's kicking in. I think that's what it is. It's the superpowers of the coffee.
Yeah.
Well, according to the comment, the super chat here for our patron eyes only episode sounds like we're panning.
This is not patron eyes only. It's just live only.
That's what the unlisted listing says.
All right. Does this sound better? Okay. I don't think that sounds like anything.
I think I might just
put the.
I
know that you can hear me. That's you. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't want to spend too much time on it right now. We'll deal with it later. Maybe we can deal with it after we finish recording the episode.
I'm just gonna kick my feet up on my amp here.
Okay.
Come around, boys and girls.
Yeah, so that's the biggest thing that's new with me is the live streaming and the Double Cut Junior that I am borrowing. I know I'm not keeping. I guess I'm not keeping these, but I might have to. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, this won't be a situation where I end up buying a lot of things.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. There's no getting around it. You get in the room with some nice stuff, and it's game over.
Yeah. I'm just gonna. Okay. Yeah, there was a lot of really nice stuff there. Like, it was a little overwhelming.
I've been wanting to go. I was going to go last March, I think. Because I was talking to someone at Gibson at NAMM that's frequently in the Seattle area. And we were texting back and forth about getting me over there and me trying to convince you to go with at the time. And then I don't think I think the text messages slowed down a little bit because February was a really busy month for both of us. And then the pandemic was hitting and we'll revisit this later.
I'm sorry that it was just me.
Aw. How dare you? Just drag me along next time. I need to get out. I need to see people.
Yeah, for sure. She doesn't go down to the office very much, understandably. But
that means it's all left unattended. Woo! And you have the address. We're all good.
Yeah. I do have the address. But I think you need to get approved to take the elevator up.
That's why you just hack it. Don't you know that the way to get approval in elevators is you just take the panel off and you short it? Just a couple. Yeah. How hard could it be? That's how they do it in the movies.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just joking about stealing things. Okay. Come on.
Don't want to go all Ocean's 11.
All right. Andrew is now doubled. It's creepy. Well, it wasn't creepy before.
Okay. We need to not read the chat too much because, again, like most of our listeners are going to listen to this live. Okay. And the more you talk about the chat, the more I'm going to have to edit out, and I will murder you if you make me edit this anymore.
Escalating from grand theft to murder. So,
what's new with you?
So what's new with me? One, I just double checked the comments from last week's episode on YouTube, and there was no comments about my horrible playing, which kind of makes me feel better, but I was kind of expecting them. I was so embarrassed. I hit the wrong chord at the beginning. I'm like,
you did it twice.
I know how to play this. I know how to play this. I know how to play this. I suck a little guitar, but not this bad. I know how to play it. I was just absolutely mortified. So I definitely got a little self-conscious. I was like, all right, just get it over with. How bad did I get roasted? Dude,
I hit wrong notes every single demo. And I get surprisingly few posts, like people commenting about how bad of a player I am. Like compared to Ryan Burke, who gets a ton of comments about him not being a very good player. Yeah.
Well, so there's that.
To watch, but she can't.
Update on the slowly evolving, but progress moving on my parts caster build aspirations that I want to do with Melissa is we've got a better idea of what we want it to look like, and then sounds like we've got pickups lined up.
Ooh.
So that's a good start since that's a key component to any parts caster build. So we're settled on doing a Lambertones HSS set with a grinder in the bridge and triple shots on the neck and the middle.
Ooh,
and
fancy.
I was chit-chatting with Curtis about what are the options for the wiring harness and figuring out what we can do there. And I've got some ideas for what we could do with it. But what I know for sure is there's two things. One, something that I learned from Curtis that I've seen him do before that I think is super slick. I don't know off the top of my head if this is an original mod or not, but what he does is in position, let's see here, if you positions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you start at the, which direction do you count for positions on the Strat? I always forget. Because I want to look at it and be like left to right when I'm looking at it. So you start at the neck and then go over to the bridge where bridges pick up 5.
I usually just call them by what they are, to be honest. That's
okay. So the position that's the middle and the bridge.
What is the one position in Stratocaster wiring? The one is the bridge.
Okay. So the one is the bridge. So
yeah.
Then position 2, because positions 2 and 4 for strats are like that quacky sound. And I actually really, really love that. And that's a huge chunk of why I want to do an HSS for this build is I just love that quacky kind of, I don't know, it's a strat sound. I like it. But if you do an HSS on position 2, you got a humbucker and a single, and it doesn't quack the same way that ducks quack. So if you want it to not look like a duck, but talk like a duck, you got to split the humbucker. And
oh, right. Yeah. This is a thing that exists. We talked about this before.
And you can do like a push pull pot or whatever to split it manually. But what Curtis has done is it automatically splits in position 2, which I think is super slick. I have I don't like the sound of the humbucker and the single coil together at the same time. I don't see why I would ever want to use that as a sound. So I think the answer is just do an auto split there. And then I think the other thing that I want to do, the plan is to do this on a Jazzmaster size and shape body. And I don't need to do like a rhythm circuit necessarily, but I like the idea of taking advantage of some of the of using the routing up to where the rhythm circuit would otherwise be on a Jazzmaster. And I kind of want to put an arcade switch there instead.
That would be really cool, honestly.
And I'm trying to think of, I think the thing with, so arcade switch could be sick, but depending on what we do for the body finish, I think is going to dictate what we end up trying to track down in terms of a color for the arcade switch. If we want to try and track down one down new, or if we want to go diving into some thrift shops and just find a switch, like cannibalize a switch off of a piece of equipment, like an old radio.
Yeah.
I've wanted to cannibalize knobs before. It's the hoarder in me.
It's not cannibalizing. It's upcycling. Especially if it was just trash before.
Okay, but cannibalizing sounds so like metal. Okay.
No, but that's gonna get you fired from your agency's Army Hammer.
So I don't know. I think that's going to dictate like what color and size we're going to do for it. But the thought that I've had is we're doing with an HSS, I mean, all those single coils, and usually there's the soap bars, P90s in a Jazzmaster. But if you do the single coils, I'm like, okay, that makes you think of a Jag, and I'm not going to do Jaguar pickups, but I kind of like the idea of making it a strangle switch for the arcade button.
Because that's such like that's like the Rage Against Tom Morello. Is that like what he has?
No, he's got a kill switch.
Kill switch, right.
Yeah, kill switch is one of the other things I was thinking of, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe I will. But strangle switch is where I don't. Strangle switch is typically on a Jaguar, and Mike Adams actually did a really cool video on this. A month or two ago. Shout out to Mike. He was doing a review on a Jaguar and going over everything, and he was talking about the strangle switch, and he was like, this is the sound of the guitar part from Say It Ain't So, where it's kind of that like,
oh, the Weezer thing he did for Fender Play. Yeah.
So it's that strangle switch sound is kind of like this oddly anemic and kind of muted, and like if you're playing it by itself, you're like, well, how would I ever use that? But when you hear it in the context of a Weezer song, you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's actually really cool. Like that sounds really great for the purpose of the song. And I don't necessarily feel the need to go out and get a Jag just for that sound, but if I wanted to incorporate that into an HSS build and just use the strangle switch on like the neck pickup, I think that could be super cool. I've no idea how to wire that in with the schematic, and that's going to be where I go back to the drawing board and start sketching that out. But I could see that being really, a really neat thing to do with like an arcade switch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Arcade switch are doing. I might ask Mike for what his thoughts are on doing what he's done with the LED light up buttons. He did on Vader.
Yeah. LED light up buttons. Those are cool.
Anything like that. Just kind of thinking through options. Just have a little bit of fun. I don't need it to be like completely gaudy and out there, but a fun option. Kind of break the mold of just a standard HSS wiring to give some more options.
Yeah. But wherever would you find a guitar body routed like that?
I would find a guitar Barty.
Guitar Barty. Tardy to the guitar party.
The Guitar Body Party from Partscaster Concierge.
Good.
Is that a good start? Did I get it right this time?
Concierge.
Concierge. So, So I'm thinking that would be a great place to go for a guitar body because they're great. And especially specifically for this sort of a build project, the idea of doing a guitar body through someone who I'm able to talk to, like, hey, here's what I'm thinking of. I know this is a little bit non-standard, but can you help me out here? What are things I'm not thinking of? And just having someone to sort of partner up with to have those discussions and make sure I would hate to go through the process of getting a custom guitar body routed by someone else that's not as involved in the process that might have caught something that I might have missed otherwise, given that I haven't done a lot of Partscaster builds from scratch myself.
That's the thing about being able to talk about something like that's why I love Gun Street Wiring is because I can be like, would this be like not a thing that would be okay to do? And then have somebody be like leveling with you, like, well, if you do that, you need to make sure you do this. That kind of
thing. Yeah. Totally. No, having someone to bounce ideas off of me, like, hey, so I want to put an arcade switch. I finally found the arcade switch I want to use. It's got a strange depth. It might need to route a little bit, like stuff like that, where we just talk it through, like making sure you're not going to have like a key detail screwed up or like, I think that is so incredibly useful. And the idea of having that brings me a lot of confidence as someone who's only modded guitars and not really built one up from a Partscaster from scratch. I think that's super invaluable. And even just like the neck pocket, whether it's squared off or rounded, just stuff like that I would be bound to like click the wrong one and get it and be like, the neck does not, oh no. I just spent $500 on a pretty roasted maple neck and it doesn't fit. That's the nightmare scenario that I could see totally happening.
Yeah, that would be a nightmare.
I know it sounds like hey, Andrew, like, you know stuff about guitar. Like, of course I know stuff about guitars, but I feel like I'm going to miss something. And the more I'm digging into the Partscaster build project, I'm realizing, one, I need to start an Excel spreadsheet and start mapping all of this out and keeping track of everything that I need to buy and just something
links and prices. And also please turn down your gain a little bit. As he just scoots the friggin' microphone away from his face. Yeah, how's this for your gain reduction? Cool.
No, but seriously, like I'm realizing that I need to.
It is. I'm sorry. I can hear it distorting.
All right. I turned it down.
Thank you.
Actually. Ta-da. There you go. Negative 10 decibel pad.
Now you can get it closer to your face again.
There we go. I just put the pad on there.
Now you can turn it up a little bit. I swear to God, we did this before, and then I don't know what happened. He suddenly got a lot louder, like 20 minutes into recording. I think you just got animated. I think the coffee kicked in. You started talking at your normal voice level.
The coffee kicked in, and I think the inspiration of talking through a parts caster build has really got me going.
Sure.
No, I'm just a corporate shell. As soon as I said spreadsheet, I was like, woohoo.
Boy. No, spreadsheets are great, dude. Whatever. But yes, this week's episode of the Get All Set podcast is sponsored by Partscaster Concierge.
Yes, Gary Cooper's great, and I need to send him some more follow-up messages to talk through options on this project.
Options. I was actually looking at my body the other day, and I think it's a lot more finished than I thought it was going to be. Like, man, I hate it when chapstick does that in your pocket, where it like goes all the way out while it's in your pocket. So I just cleared off my workbench a little bit. I did a ton of home improvement projects yesterday, so part of that involved like cleaning the workbench space. I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna have to like, I'm not gonna have to like start at 80 grit or anything for sanding. Like, I think maybe just like a final sand. Then I need to take my brass, wet it down, take my brass brush, and raise the grain some so I can start doing what I want to do. And I'm feeling a little bit more empowered to do that after tackling some other home improvement projects this weekend. It's been a lot. I got trapped in a corner of my own damn bedroom. I had to get extracted.
I don't know if I'm horrified or impressed or both.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have a dresser that has a big mirror, but I hadn't put the mirror on in the 3 years we've been in the house because one of the pieces that you attach the mirror to the dresser had split, and it took a while for me to just like get a new piece of wood. And so I could get over the dress. So we had to pull it away from the wall, and I could get over the dresser because it was right up against the bed, to get behind it to, re-drill the holes and line it up and everything. Just fine. But once you put the mirror up, guess what? You can't just crawl over the dresser anymore.
Yep. That'll do it.
That did it. Yeah.
You sealed yourself into the wall. With the cask of Amontillado.
Oh my God.
Like the one-man Edgar Allan Poe play.
Yeah.
I know, deep cut.
Was that I think all this stuff was short stories. It was just converted into plays.
That's some chilling stuff. I dig it though.
Yeah, Poe is great. But that feels like a digression. Did you watch Phoebe Bridgers on SNL last night?
I did. I watched it live. And
yeah, me too. I thought she did great.
The first song I really, really enjoyed. I'm like, okay, like that was.
Had you not heard Kyoto before?
I've listened to some of her stuff off and on, but I couldn't tell you. I don't recognize song names. I recognize the sound.
It's her big hit single.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
But the second song, like, it's going. I'm like, okay, now we're hitting like, it's picking up some real steam, and it's starting to like transition from like sounding like an indie dream pop kind of sound, moving into like more of like, okay, this is starting to sound like kind of rock. Like this is sounding like more classic rock, like kind of intense. And then she just started screaming. I'm like,
yeah, I knew it was coming because I've listened to I Know the End and that record Punisher a bunch of times. And my husband did not know it was coming. And we're just like watching, and I'm just like seeing her smiles getting bigger. I'm like, she knows she's about to just rock out. Like,
right.
And then it started to happen. And then I'm like, and I think before the song like really got into it, I'm like, she's going to start wailing at the end to Rick. And I think that he thought I meant like her going big with vocals like she did in the first song toward the end. Cause she does tend to do that, like really save her energy for big finishes. I wasn't expecting her to smash her guitar that many times. And then I about died laughing when she gave that wedge another kick and then just started smashing it some more. That was so great. We should start screaming though.
Right.
That was.
I wasn't
like, this is going to confuse a lot of people.
Melissa wasn't prepared for it, and she's like, "I thought you said Emily said this band was good."
Whoa, Melissa, no!
I'm interpreting what her eyes said. So, to be clear.
I mean, it's weird.
It's definitely out there.
And that's fine. But also, she's wearing a skeleton onesie in the first song. I love the how the pearls were a rib cage on her last outfit. I thought that was really cool.
And then
someone tweeted once that Phoebe Bridgers sings like an angel and talks like someone trying to bum 5 cents from you at the 7-Eleven.
I have no comment on that. What I can say is Twitter immediately blew up last night. And as soon as she started smashing the guitar, I'm turning into a terrible millennial. I wonder what Twitter has to say about this, and pulled it up, and sure enough, people are just blowing up. And like, I think like the most like tweeted thing is,
who is this woman, Phoebe Bridgers?
There was a combination of like,
Brooklyn
who is
Dad.
this? This is dumb. I want Zeppelin back kind of vibe. And then the other bit was, I saw like 18 different tweets within like the same minute, all saying my sexuality is Phoebe Bridgers smashing a guitar on SNL.
Yes. The number one tweet that I saw that just got ratioed to death was this guy, and he's like, who is this woman, Phoebe Bridgers? Like, you just answered your own question. And then he basically talks about how he's like, I didn't like the song, but smashing the guitar at the end seemed a little extra. I'm like, man, I really hope he tweeted that about Machine Gun Kelly doing literally the same thing last week, but whatever.
I didn't watch last week. I didn't even know Machine Gun Kelly was on.
Yeah.
I
like that guy's like energy, and I really liked him in that Motley Crue movie, but I did not really.
I've heard some interesting stories.
I would like to hear those. I liked him on Catfish when he co-hosted the TV show Catfish. Is he super problematic and I just don't know it? How problematic is he? On a scale of
define problematic.
Is he racist, sexist? Does he hurt human beings?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
But I don't know. I've just heard weird whispers from friends and acquaintances that have been involved with him in a grander scale.
Okay, well, I'm curious. Of course, he's just gonna like.
I can't verify any of them, but
it's unverifiable. I hear there's rumors on the internet. I'm that old. Wow. That was bad.
I know.
Yeah, but I thought it was real. I thought the performance was great. I thought it was fun that she smashed the guitar and funny and very on brand. And
I like
she
how
just
the
seemed
guitar
so
didn't
happy
even
to
break.
be there. It didn't. It didn't.
She put a whole bunch of dents in that wedge.
She did. It sparked a lot.
Oh, I'm sure the sound guy was pissed.
Oh, well, I hope she told him beforehand that she was going to do it.
I hope so.
So do you think this is a spam text message I just got? It said from, and then it has a bunch of numbers. It says message, brackets, Netflix. We have encountered errors related to your outstanding streaming payment. And then it's HTTPS celebsbio.net/errors. Do you think this sounds... Do you think that's actually Netflix?
No, that's 100%. That's a scam. Don't click on it. It's phishing.
Dude, I know. That's
Don't get
hilarious.
phished.
They didn't even like shorten the link. They didn't even try to hide the link.
Don't click on links you don't recognize.
No, that's so funny to me. Oh my God. Hi, Carrie. You're in trouble.
No. Anyways, no, I thought that Phoebe's performance was great. There's just the part I'm like, what is she doing? She's smashing it. And I'm realizing I'm turning into an old crotchety curmudgeon. And when the first thing out of my mind is like, I hope the sound guy knew this was coming.
Yeah. I generally hope that, I think, is the thing. But whatever. as long as she paid for it to get it fixed or whatever. It's her guitar. She can do whatever she wants with it. It didn't look to me, from my eyes, not that I was looking that closely, like a particularly nice guitar.
Steve Rouse said it was a baritone Dan Electro.
Yeah, she plays that a lot. But she really seemed like I think it's that she was holding it kind of mid-neck, so it wasn't getting enough of an angle. Like, there wasn't probably enough momentum to really snap the neck, which is probably what she was trying to do.
I don't
know. Joe Braga wants to know what Carrie did. She peed on the carpet. That's what she did. She never does that, so I'm a little concerned, but I think she was maybe just experimenting.
That does remind me. I need to clean up the carpet on the floor behind me. I don't think anyone can see it on the stream right now. I don't think they're going to be able to see it later, but I've got a carpet on the ground behind me that's on top of the actual carpet, because the actual a rug. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Definitions difficult. So I walked into in the room the other day, and Percy's just like got his legs like out like this, just dragging his butt across.
No,
and the litter box is in the laundry room right behind me. So I'm like, so you just took a dump, then you walked out, and you're like, all right, well, there's a little bit more, and just.
Carrie's done that exactly once. And the reaction we gave her, I think, has prevented her from ever doing it again.
See, I'm not.
Don't you come to this the listeners? Don't you come to this podcast to hear about our cats' bathroom habits?
We haven't talked about cats enough.
We haven't talked about cats in a while. That's true.
Yeah, I think seeing it once was frightening, but thinking about the reality that I'm not around every time that he poops, what am I not seeing? And I mean, it's a textured rug. It'd be very difficult for me to pick out a skid mark. And so I feel like I need to go over and inspect it and maybe like bleach it so I could see it next time.
Just vacuum regularly, do a little carpet cleaning action. That's pretty nasty. Yeah, that's a nasty
It's pretty gross.
We have mostly hardwood around where the cat is, and yeah.
So naturally, I'm walking around barefoot in the house right now.
Yeah, I just didn't monitor it because I know that it can be a symptom of a UTI if they're suddenly not peeing in their litter boxes. So if she does it again, we'll probably take her to the vet. But it's just like, I think every once in a while she just experiments with like going to the bathroom in a new place to see if she can cover it up.
Let's try something.
I don't know. Yes, let's try something. Let's try to spice it up a little.
She's probably just really stressed out by Phoebe Bridgers' performance.
Just the screaming. It was so good. I was excited by it.
She looked like she was trying not to laugh during that part. She's screaming. She's like trying not to laugh.
I think she was trying not to laugh. She's actually quite a happy person, she always says, and that comes across in interviews. Totally. She seems funny. It just seems like her outlet is to write sad songs. Yeah. It's Super Bowl Sunday also. We're making I have some barbacoa going in the crock pot, and we're going to make nachos. We're going to make the chips. We're going to make the guacamole with a secret Aardvark habanero sauce. And we are making nachos.
So I fully intended on getting up this morning voluntarily early to start up the smoker and get the fire going. Because I've got two briskets that are sitting in brine. I had a mild bout of insomnia in the middle of the night, kind of woke up and
yeah, I hate that.
And so I did I was going to get up at 6, but if I bump my alarm back to 7, that gives me an extra hour that I wasn't planning on. And that just means brisket's going into the cooler an hour later. And then I woke up to my alarm and I looked over the alarm clock and it said like 8:04 or something like that. And I realized that I had snoozed for over an hour without completely waking up. And then I'm looking at the time going, it's going to take me by the time I need to scrape down the grates. I need to, because I usually smoke using a minion method where you line up all the charcoal,
right.
or it just burns through the snake. So I needed to get that set up. I needed to clean out the ash out of the smoker. I needed to, the drip pan I haven't been doing a great job of lining with foil every single time I've smoked. And so I know there's a bunch of crap in the bottom that I need to wash.
Yeah.
I need to dry off the briskets and salt and pepper them to get ready to go on. I need to clean the thermal. Just realizing I've got more than 45 minutes of work. So I can't possibly get them. I can't reasonably get the briskets on the smoker before the podcast starts. And I certainly don't want to be like, okay, start the podcast. Oh, shoot, the temperature's spiking because it hasn't settled in yet. Oh, no. Back and forth. So we'll be starting those briskets as soon as we're done.
And how long will they take to finish?
That's the question I don't have an answer for. That's where it gets tricky.
You're going to wrap it in foil? Or did you get parchment paper? I'm sorry.
Butcher paper?
Butcher paper.
So I've got a big roll of butcher paper out there on the table we've got on the porch.
Texas crutch.
Definitely going to crutch it this time. Last time I didn't crutch it and it got a little dry. Also so this is officially my second time trying brisket. Last time I didn't brine it.
Yeah.
And I didn't crutch it. And I had some issues with the smoker in general. And so I just ended up going for a little bit too long.
Double whammy.
So it was a little dry by the time it was done. It wasn't inedible, but it was definitely drier than it should have been.
Yeah.
So this time I'm brining it. I'm going to crutch it. I've got two of them. They're one's like a little over 3 pounds, but it's got a lot of fat on it. I need to trim off. And the other one is just like 2.95, like just under 3. So
my question for you is fat up or fat down?
It's my second one. I don't know. Fat
down, dude. That's my recommendation.
I will try fat down.
From someone who wrote an article about how to smoke brisket. Because I know that people want like the juices from the fat to like get through all of it, but in actuality, what it often does is just kind of rinses away the seasoning.
Gotcha. Yeah. I could see that. I could also see.
I don't know if that's gonna be as big a problem with a brine.
Well, so I think the thought that I have thinking about that is the fat's gonna absorb so much more smoke flavor, and so having that like directly under, especially like I have a vertical smoker. I know I should have an offset smoker. It'd be much more on brand. But I've got a vertical smoker, so all the smoke goes up instead of circulating inside and kind of chilling out.
Damn. That's pretty funny.
So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. 3 pounds each. I know if you do 1 3-pounder, for like one roast, you're looking at an hour and a half to 2 hours per pound. So I should be looking at like 6-7 hours total tops. But since I'm adding a second one, now they're not the same size, and so it shouldn't completely double that. But I know it's not going to be the exact same amount of time either.
They're not the same size. Have fun with that, dude.
I'm thinking about trying to get the temperature up to 275 and doing a little bit higher than low and slow in the hopes that'll be done sooner. But I'm also looking at the time, realizing it's already 10 a.m. on West Coast. There's no way it's going to be ready by halftime for Super Bowl. I think it's just going to be an after Super Bowl dinner.
Yeah.
And just snacking through the whole game. Just fine. I did get Tom Kelly will appreciate this. I did get chili, a couple cans of chili without beans. And,
well, if it's got beans, it's meat and bean soup, not chili.
Okay, but the labels on the cans in the aisle say a different story. They say chili with beans. I know. I'm just saying I'm here to report the facts. And the facts are that the cans say chili, and we all know that the FDA has something to say about that, about what you can label.
And QAnon says Trump is still president.
Are you comparing the FDA to QAnon? I'm concerned.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I take it back. I regret that immediately. My turn for regrets. Nice shirt, Andrew.
Yeah, it is.
You're the one who goes harder on Gibson.
I do. I don't know. I've been
topic.
I know, topic change. No, I've been a bit on the harsh side, and I'm not going to say that it's not justified, but I've definitely been a little bit critical of a handful of brands over the years, and Gibson is a brand that I've been critical of that I would like to no longer have a reason to be critical of. And what I've said several times in the podcast over the years is
people are going to think that they made me make you retract. And I just want to say that's not the case. Like we literally didn't talk about you at all. Just so you know, no offense. You have your Gibson friends. I have mine.
Yes. No one's making me say this. They would have to give me in order to make me say something, they'd have to give me like a 335 in Tascam Orange.
Wow, I would do a 339.
Well, no. Gib Sunday tagged me in that orange Tascam Orange 335 last week.
Yeah, that was pretty.
And I was like, oh, I want it. Wait, I found myself immediately looking it up on Reverb. I'm like, are there any for sale?
How expensive was it?
I couldn't find any on Reverb.
Oh, maybe it was a custom shop deal.
It might be custom shop. It might be rare. I don't know what the situation is. I didn't check eBay, and I'm kind of scared to check for sold listings. I'm sure it's money I don't have. But anyways, I have said before several times that I want Gibson to be redeemed a little bit. And the way I've said this is Gibson is a legacy brand that deserves a reputation that to match.
Yeah.
And I think the last 10 years in the end of the Henry J era really just kind of tanked all of that. And under new management, there's definitely been some ups and downs, some good things and some, I think, objectively
things that haven't changed mostly.
Some objectively not great things, but
yeah, I think that the not great things definitely feel more like continuation versus new bad things. Except for the Play Authentic video, that wasn't great.
Yeah, but they pulled that back pretty quickly and said, "Just kidding, that was bad." And after talking with people that I know at Gibson, the general consensus was like, "Yeah, that was cringe for us too," you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I found myself going through a couple months going like, I don't know, maybe I just wanted it all burned down and let someone else buy the brand and start over. Not like my dreams and wishes or anything like have any bearing on the actual reality of the situation, but I'm coming around and I'm coming back with a positive attitude of like, all right, guys, like I want them to do better. I want to root for them and I want to see them continue to head in a positive direction. And I think seeing them reach out to you and ask for you to do some demo work, I think that's really encouraging, genuinely.
Yeah, it's an opportunity that I don't take lightly. I mean, Gibson was really my first guitar was a Squier Strat, and then I fell in love with Gibsons. I had the Gibson Hummingbird, I had a Gibson Les Paul, I had a Gibson 135. Like I've loved Gibsons since I was a teenager.
Sure.
And it's it's one of those brands for me that's just really, it has a soft spot. And yeah, I mean, I just haven't played them in a long time. I think part of it for me, and I still do feel this way, like just looking through their website, I wish that there was more of like a middle ground between like their budget models and their phenomenal like $3,000 guitars.
Sure.
It'd be cool if there was some sort of better middle ground there. But I mean, I was talking to Jenny and I picked up, she had not one of the new Crestwoods because that was the thing I kind of requested demo was the new Crestwood or Coronet or Wilshire or whatever they want to give me.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a custom shop one and I picked it up and it was really lightweight. And she said, yeah, all of our Epiphones are lightweight.
Yeah. And
this is lightweight. And then I picked up a Gibson Les Paul that I thought was extremely heavy. So, I mean,
sure.
I didn't expect the Junior to be as light as it was. I didn't expect the Coronet, or I think it was a Crestwood custom shop to be as light as it was. So that was impressive to me. I liked that. I think this sounds good. I'm probably going to play it a lot more today. Maybe during the Super Bowl.
I do like Juniors a lot.
Yeah,
that's definitely been like.
I've always wanted this exact guitar, but I am going to have to give it back.
Fair enough. So, so no, I think that's a step in the right direction. I think it's really encouraging, and I'm choosing to put my positivity hat back on and kind of chill out. So I've got that. I think
you gotta stay positive.
Well, in the same vein of wanting to stay positive, I think another brand that I've been a little critical of in the past, and not so much in the recent months, and there's a reason for it. But JHS is a brand I've been a little snippy about in the past, right, wrong, or indifferent. And I don't know, I've been a little snippy about them. I got a little snippy about the cheese ball or whatever they call that unit, and about the Legends of Fuzz. And I got a little snippy about it, but I think the root of a lot of my snippiness is looking at Josh's involvement with the community, and I think that's all been softened so much watching him really engage with everyone, using his show in some really positive ways.
That was a really good marketing decision to make that pivot.
And, maybe it's just an abject marketing decision, or maybe it's just that's what he wanted to do with the brand and it was fun. And
I mean, it can be both. It can be more than one thing.
I think the community that's fostering, I think, is really neat. And I'm actually really happy to see all of that. And I'm finding myself less and less inclined to be like, okay, like to get snippy about anything in that realm. And I don't know, between that, hearing more stories of what Josh is like behind closed doors, and I'm regretting not having the what's the word? I want to say the nuts. I don't know. I saw him I walked past the JHS booth several times at NAMM, never walked up and said hi. And then I saw Josh at the Earthquaker Devices party and couldn't bring myself to say hi because I was like so thrown back. I don't know. Like I've said a couple of like critical things. Like I got all worried about it. But
I do not think he knows who we are.
I don't think he knows I'd be shocked if he did. But I don't know. I just got self-conscious about it. And I don't know. I feel like I should have said hi. And I feel like that's another brand that I'm coming around on and being like, okay, like I've been critical in the past, but I'm chilling out. And I think it's really important for anyone who's been critical of any brand to leave themselves open to changing their minds. I'm not there's the meme, like the blank company sucks, change my mind. Like I'm not that guy. I'm like, actually, no, like
that guy sucks.
My mind can totally be changed. People change, people come around, circumstances vary. And I'm not above being wrong.
You put distance between like things that are, I think, reasonable criticisms that people have had with JHS. I mean, I think that, so we talk a lot about, as a culture, we talk about things like cancel culture. I don't really think it's a
last night on SNL was really funny though.
Kid canceled.
Yeah.
Kids canceled.
That was the best skit of the night, I think.
Well, okay, so I don't really think cancel culture is a thing. I think it's like consequences of your actions for the most part, and reaping and sowing and all that. But I think sort of what people kind of miss is that there has to be, for the most part, I think people need to be able to redeem themselves, depending on what it was. Like if it was like, I don't really know if there's coming back from some things, but if I look at people like Morgan Wallen, who was caught on video just generally being an idiot and a rude neighbor, and then also hurling the N-word, which was really bad. Really, really bad.
Yeah.
Really, 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 really bad. Do people say he's getting like canceled? I'm like, well, one, I'm pretty sure that this is just the worst story that got out. It's kind of my understanding that he has other problems and has had other stories that have been buried a little bit. But I think that for anything, what I'm trying to say is, if you do something terrible and people rightly call you out for it, and you lose opportunities and your actions have consequences, what matters is what you do next.
Yes.
Like, do you spend your, like, I really like Elvis Costello, and like the late 70s, he got really drunk and used the N-word a bunch and said some really deplorable things at a bar in Ohio. And then he spent a lot of his career working to redeem that stuff that he should not have done. He, didn't really make excuses. He put a lot of his energy into propping up underappreciated Black artists like Alan Toussaint and the like. And I think that just you have to work to redeem yourself when you do something really nasty. And that's the truth of it. And if you and it's kind of like the opposite of what Ryan Adams has done, which is basically
double down.
Basically say he literally texted his manager that he wasn't interested in redemption shit, that he just wanted his career back.
Right.
And that's that's not how that works.
Yeah.
No, you have to have the redemptive arc, right? You really do.
It's
and it's just like it's kind of up to you what you do with time and distance, and a combination of redemptive qualities and actions and time and distance can lead to forgiveness on a massive scale.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think acknowledging that what you did is wrong is kind of the first thing.
Right. I mean, there's definitely a redemptive arc. There's also just I think there's a redemptive arc for some folks and companies, and there's also my mind has been changed about them, not necessarily because they needed to be redeemed arc. Yeah. If that makes sense. So.
Or just like doing more good than bad kind of thing. Sure. Or just maybe, I don't know, just I think minds can change and circumstances can change. Like.
Totally. Well,
yeah.
My encouragement, the reason of bringing it up is less about kind of trying to suck up to anyone in the industry, because that's not, I don't brown nose. That's not my thing. But I think more of my point in bringing that up is reminding people that it's okay to be wrong in retrospect.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's no shame in that.
I think, was it last week I said that being wrong is an opportunity to learn something?
Sure. Yeah. There's like 8 different corporate ways to say that. Like identifying an improvement opportunity.
It's okay to be wrong. You have to admit that you were wrong.
Sure. So, no, I mean, it's okay to be wrong. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. And I think it's just where your headspace is at and being willing to admit it, or even just, it's okay to change minds. It's okay for companies to evolve, for people to evolve, for circumstances to change. And I think it's okay to be upset at one point in time, and justifiably so, and fast forward X amount of time and to no longer feel the same way. So,
yep. Neat.
I think that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my little soapbox for the day.
Your little soapbox of the day. There you have it, everyone. Andrew Renard's soapbox of the day.
Oh, look at
that. Personal favorite. So, yeah, I'm not sure I have a lot to add that I haven't already added as it was happening. I don't know. Brands aren't people, but sometimes they are, I guess, in the case of JHS.
I mean, the brand is literally his name.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
No.
Yeah. I don't have anything to add to it, I guess.
Sure.
I mean, I think that something that has made it a lot easier for JHS to escape sort of the negative press they've had before was that when they were accused of stealing a circuit from Debbie Ever, which, I mean, I do think it's basically the same circuit with one redundancy fixed. But I think kind of what helped distance themselves from there was that her brand imploded, and that I think that people lost a lot of sympathy for her.
Sure.
Which kind of I think helped him a lot. And then there were a lot of other things I think are just generally like unprovable, and also kind of, I don't know. Do I think Josh Scott is a homophobe? Not really.
No.
I think that was kind of the big thing.
Yeah, those ones never. The homophobic kind of stuff never held any water with me. I don't know. Not that like I'm an authority.
But also I've never had a conversation with him. I think that for like the things that people were displaying as proof of homophobia weren't really proof of homophobia.
Yeah. No, I mean I've read through the People versus Josh Scott or whatever, or versus JHS.
Oh yeah, I don't like that article. Sorry, Adam.
Is what it is. I don't know. I don't think any of that is. I think it's all circumstantial by proxy, etc. Insert legal term here.
I mean, it's the IHOP church, something that I don't think is good. I don't think that church, the International House of Prayer, is good. I think there's a lot of bad stuff there, but I mean,
in general, I'm skeptical of any large church, and not without reason.
Mega churches. Yeah. Well, IHOP also had that big murder scandal. That was pretty.
I mean, most mega churches have a scandal at some point in time, regardless of their theology, but also
but there's something particularly bad.
It's just murder. You threatened to murder me earlier, so hypocrite.
Well, I didn't actually do it.
yeah,
Sweet
but
Jesus. IHOP murder. I think there was like a big cover up and stuff, and like Bethany Deaton's murder.
I don't actually know anything about that, but
maybe you should shut the hell up about it then, huh?
No, it was. You're gonna murder me?
No, I wouldn't do that. I still need you around. I like having you on the podcast.
The Judah Smith stuff is like the most recent like implosion of the mega church world. I'm like, when are we gonna learn, guys? Cult of personality never works well.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't work in politics. Current situation is a pretty good,
indicator.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm always by default very skeptical of mega churches, particularly when there's a cult of personality involved. Seattle is an area got burned by Mark Driscoll a few years back.
Big time.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite. Sorry, did I say Joe Smith earlier? I meant to say Carl Lentz. I get the two confused. It's very easy to do.
I don't know who those people are.
I mean, they're basically best friends and both involved in Justin Bieber's life to varying degrees, but no longer.
What?
So my favorite like mega church pastor from the Seattle area actually stepped down recently, like a year ago or so, just because he's like, hey guys, it's starting to feel like it's a bit too much about me. I'm gonna toodles. And if you guys really cared, then you continue going to this church, and I really like this other pastor that I'm going to put up. But he was just no longer comfortable with the "we love Eugene Joe" kind of thing.
All right.
Which I'm like,
cool.
I respect the heck out of that.
Yeah, cool.
Anyways, sorry. More soapbox. I should probably go get some that brisket going.
That guy needs to get his brisket going.
You get the brisket going. I need to make myself a breakfast burrito.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
it's Super Bowl Sunday. What else is the Super Bowl for but for food?
Please like, comment, subscribe, review, rate on iTunes. Check out getoffsetpodcast.com/shop. Until next time, my name is Emily.
And my name is Andrew.
Goodbye.
There's a cat hair on my microphone.
That's nasty, dude. Bye.